Hey, good evening all, 7:30. Let's get started on a new semester. I see a lot of familiar names. Welcome back from my previous class, CS47. And I also see some new students. I also welcome you guys too. Um, this is a new year. So happy new year to everybody. To note, this is being recorded, this session on the Zoom recording, and as well as it is being live streamed on the YouTube channel. All right. So, how do we do? How do we start this semester? Oh, one change for my previous student on your experience. I have disabled the chat. What I found, chat is kind of distracting in previous semester, so I've disabled the chat purposefully. So if you have question or anything you want to participate in the discussion, please speak up. Okay, that gives me also a chance to kind of do an human connection than just an abstract chatting, typing onto that. So I'd like to hear your voice in this online setup. Like I would like to meet all of you face to face, but since things are not permitting nowadays that part, so it's at least better if you speak up. At least I see your face, I hear your voice. That's some human connection, human touch is there instead of chatting. So that's the other intention that I disable the chat. Couple of things again for difficulties level. Two things I want to mention. One is that I always try something new technique in the online session. So maybe your experience may become a little bit bumpy, a little bit rough along the line. I don't know. If you don't like something about this setup and stuff like that, you always can always give me feedback. Either speak up in the class or send me email, communicate me on the canvas. I'm okay to get feedback on your experience. All right. Secondly, probably you have all noticed I have Indian accent. Okay, so for some of you, maybe it will be difficult to follow. Like if you don't understand something, you can ask me, request me to repeat that if you don't understand, and I can try to go slow, try to utter more clearly, stuff like that. So please bear with me on that part. Now, I hope you have gone through the Canvas setup, whoever has this access to the Canvas. I believe maybe some of you don't have the Canvas access till now because you're waiting on the add code. But other than that, I would like to start with our Canvas page and make our discussion on today's day through that one. So let me first share the page with you. All right. So this is the first page you basically end up on your canvas if you click on this course. Very top part, it is always will have some recent announcement. If there is any, I will put some announcement there. Make sure you notice that. And then next thing, possibly many of you have already gone through, is that everything you need to know this page. So what is this page? This page has basically everything you need to know about this course. Okay, so some logistics, protocols, navigations, challenges, all these things are explained through these videos. Some other informations are there like timing, prerequisite, textbook, and most importantly, there are some activity listed. So make sure you complete these activities in time. Any questions so far in this process or anything logistic wise, anything if you have?
Professor, for those of us that are trying to add in, how are we going to get access to the survey?
Okay, that's a good question. I'm just coming to that topic next. So about the late registration add instruction. So if you are if you are already an SJSU registered student and if you can access Canvas, this course has institution level access. That means if you search in the Canvas, you should be able to get into the course and at least go through the initial pages, etc. Okay. Now what you need to do as far as the enrollment process, SJSU enrollment process goes, it basically says that till February 4, if there is a class opening, you can just register. You will be just placed into the class. Okay, and there are openings in this class. So you should be able to register that. Now, even if you are registered or you are waiting for the add code, in both cases, please send me an email, okay, to my email address, kaushik.patra@sjsu.edu with exact subject line like this, like open square brace, CS147,03, close brace, let registration request. And in that email, you just list down 3 information for me: name, student ID, and SJSU registered email. So what I'll do, I will send further communication on this, especially on this survey, prerequisite survey, by tomorrow night. Okay, I'll collect all this information from all of you, whoever has sent. I'll collect that list and send a bulk notification to that list by tomorrow night. About the add code, it will be sent by February 11, okay, but not before February 8. So February 8 is the drop deadline, and last day to add the course is February 15. So you will have enough time to add into that code. So if you are a student who is waiting for an add code, just participate through this Zoom session, or if you are watching over the YouTube channel live streaming, just continue with that till February 11, and after that you should be able to register into the course and get hold of this page. Okay, till that time there won't be, don't worry about the quizzes, points, there won't be nothing like that. Okay, so you won't be missing anything. Just follow through the lectures, online discussion session, and all the lecture videos like this lecture 1, lecture 2, etc. These videos are also available in the YouTube channel, so you won't be missing anything there on the lecture perspective as well. Okay, question?
Are there exceptions for graduating seniors? Do we have to wait until the 11th?
Yeah, everyone needs to. That's my process, basically.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so now, next I would like to show you something important. You know all the timings. Oh, okay, Zoom registration. So this one gives you the registration link to the Zoom. Why I'm mentioning this, for this specific observation, at least what I had the last semester, a little bit confusing on the Zoom integration point of view. I'm not sure if they have fixed it or not. Now, if you will see as a student, there is a join button here. Let me see if I can do, okay, no, I don't have that. Shouldn't be, okay. Join button here. Now, if you click on that join button, it will basically take you to the registration page. My setting is that if you, once you register, you should be able to join in the session. You don't need further registration for every session. Once registered, you can join all the session. Now, if you use these join buttons, you will further again go into the registration page. It will register and then let you join. So no point in that. What you need to do after your registration is done, you will be receiving one email from Zoom, right, with the link and whatever other information for this specific meeting ID. Just bookmark it or store it somewhere and use that same link to join rest of the session. Okay, just don't go through that Zoom tab and hit the join. It will basically sometimes complicate, especially later in the stage, I will disable the auto, what is that called? Auto granting of registration. Basically, I need to go manually, and if someone registered, I need to go manually, go there, check it, and allow that person to come into the Zoom session. That automatic grant of permission in the Zoom session will be turned off after some days. And then if you just hit this join button, you will probably end up in waiting for joining the session. So make sure you keep your initial email saved somewhere, bookmark that link, and use that meeting ID or that link to join the rest of the semester. Okay, next one. Okay, let me know if you have any question, and I will jump to the next topic.
Will you be, I remember when we had the live sessions, you'd have a way to take roll. How are you going to take roll in Zoom calls, and how are you going to do that? If you
That's a good question, Rajan. So that's why the registration is for. So at the end of the meeting, Zoom actually sent me like who have participated, how long they have participated, who have joined. So I have all the statistics, and based on that, I will basically make that roll call.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Now, at this point, let me elaborate on a little bit on this course study flow. Why? Mark, do you have any question?
I do. So I had trouble finishing the Qualtrics survey. Will that change once I'm registered for the class?
Will that what? Sorry, I didn't get you.
So I had trouble completing the Qualtrics survey. Will that change once I'm registered for the class?
Actually, no. You sent me some email, right?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, I'll take a look, Mark, on your
case. Thank you.
Yeah. I need to go back to the Qualtrics system and see what is going on with your response. Yeah, just wait for my reply, okay? All right. So for many of you, especially who haven't participated in my CS 47 class, it will be a little bit new mode for you in this class, given that this class has a flip style, means that I don't lecture in the Zoom session. I don't do lecturing at all. In the Zoom session, what we do, we basically go through your difficulties in understanding of any problems or any topics for that day. We discuss that. We do problem solving. We sometimes go through some experiment, labs, etc. Not really lecturing. So it is a little bit different setup. So what is expected that in a nutshell, before you come to the class, you need to review all the videos and lecture notes and be prepared with many questions to ask me to clear off your concept. So this is the mode I prefer for you to follow throughout this semester for this course. And let me elaborate on that part, what we want to do. So let me share first. All right, so beginning of the semester, we need to go check Canvas for upcoming lecture schedule. And is there an upcoming lecture, lab? Remember, this course has both lecture and lab 2 part of it that both of you need to follow. Both of them you need to follow. So if there is any, yes, then view the corresponding lecture and lab videos. Okay. Also study corresponding lecture notes and lab notes, if there is any. Perform the lab experiment, if there is any. Add the queries to corresponding module discussion. So we divided this course into like 9 modules. And these 9 modules is...
Attention to base meter.
Sorry for that. Okay. So where I was, oops. Okay, so there are 9 modules and each module has sections. Each module has sections of different lectures. But in a module, I have set up a discussion page for that module. Whenever you have question, doubts, please note them into the Canvas discussion course for the corresponding module. And that way we can start effectively discussing on the class inside the Zoom session. We can effectively start discussing. Also, one note that in this model, it is not that students will only ask question and as a teacher I will answer them. If any of you see any question that you can answer, please participate and start the discussion as well. Like, you know the answer, you want to share your experience with other students, please do so. Let's not this discussion be just one way. You are asking, I am answering. Not like that. Let's all join in the discussion and make a group culture of discussing the topics and help each other on resolving difficulties. All right. Now, so all these steps you need to do before you come to the class, and then join the class meeting through the Zoom. There we discuss, we do the problem solving and example, etc. Now, after the class is done, it's very much suggested that you re-review the lecture notes and video if needed, like to kind of settle down on your ideas. Okay, so you do that and then also do some practice problem sets if it is available for that module, that chapter. So please do that. There are solutions also. I would recommend you to do the problem first yourself, then check back, consult back with the solution. So this process needs to be done over and over again throughout the semester. And let's say there is no upcoming lecture or lab. So that means basically it can be like an exam is upcoming or some holidays are coming, something like that. So that means you need to, throughout the semester, you need to check for what is upcoming, prepare yourself, and then come to the class. And of course, if it is the end of the semester, it's a party time. You can just relax after the semester is done. You earned it, and so on and so forth. Question? All right. Now, I would like to review a little bit, go through the green sheet page with you. Though you are supposed to review that as a part of the prerequisite survey, but still just let me go through, skim through at least the syllabus page. Share that. All right, syllabus. So you can go to the syllabus directly like this. And it has this PDF document, which also you can access it in the CS department syllabus website. And it's also here. And after that, it has basically the list of timelines that you have. Probably you already know, whoever is using the Canvas for a long time, it is there. Now about this one, how do I, okay, let me just open it up in a different windows. Okay, and okay, all right. So what this contains, it contains necessarily information about the office hours, about the timings, and the course format. Please make sure you understand that, what we are trying to do in this section. Course description, this is the formal things to go through. Learning outcome, again, some formal things. Okay, here, required, it says a required textbook, but textbook is really not required, they're optional. It is like if you want to know more about a specific topic or dive down into the topics related to that, then you can go back to this book and read. Otherwise, the class note provided should be sufficient to go through the class. Okay, by at least by theory, it should be sufficient to go through only through the class note. Only if you want to know more about that topic, you can refer back to the textbooks. So they're not really required, but they're optional. Second thing, some requirement, especially the deadline for the prerequisite survey, it's Jan 30, midnight, 11:59 p.m. What else? Important thing, okay, lockdown browser webcam requirement. So this class goes to this online quiz as an exam using the lockdown browser and webcam. Please make sure you set up correct properly for that environment. Okay. Other some guidelines, okay. Okay, so this is the grading information. Projects is about 50%, so projects are very important. There are 3 projects. And quiz about 20%, midterm 10%, final carries 20%. There's some grading policies. This is very standard for the SJSU. No, nothing new about the protocol. This section you must go and really read through and understand what are the protocols. Please maintain them. Important thing would be number 9. Please make sure you understand this. Like number 9 says, you need to check validity of your any assignment, homework, etc. you submit on the Canvas. So what you need to do, first of all, upload those assignment and download in a separate directory and make sure that you uploaded the thing what you want us to evaluate. Okay, there can be many other things like you uploaded, it become corrupted, or you uploaded something by mistake which you intended not to upload, maybe a previous version of your work or something like that, or an empty file, you never know. So you need to make sure you validate your upload, because once we start grading, there is no coming back. Okay, and I won't tell you like, hey, you have the blank submission or corrupted submission, please resubmit. I won't tell it. If I see such cases, you'll straight get 0. Okay, there is no coming back. So make sure you validate your upload, your work. Okay, and to ensure that, please do not do procrastinate on your task. Make sure you submit at least 6 to 8 hours beforehand so that you can recheck, verify, validate. Also, 6 to 8 hour recommendation is very important in the sense the project reports and the writing parts that you will be uploading, that will be going through the Turnitin scores. Like Turnitin system will generate some similarity score, and these projects have some threshold, like I think 25% or 20% similarities. That is the maximum you can have in your work. Anything above that, I will come back to you and ask you why it is that much similarity, and you need to explain to me. And of course, if you cannot explain, it will go to the like university. It will be reported to the university, which is not a very good experience. So make sure you are on the right track. I know for sure this, when you submit things on the Turnitin, it comes back with a feedback that, hey, you have maybe 35% similarity. I don't know how long it takes. Like sometimes it may take a minute or an hour or 2. I'm not sure. So basically, a good assumption would be 6 to 8 hours, so that if the similarity score comes back with a higher score, like higher than the threshold set for the project report, you can rework and make sure your Turnitin score comes down below the threshold. So that's why I recommend 6 to 8 hours before the submission deadline. You need to submit, upload, and make sure things are in proper place and proper shape. All right. Other things, is okay. So if there is any other assistive technology accommodations you need for special purpose, please first contact with the AEC, Accessible Education Center. They contact me with your need so that I can cater and work towards your need for that special things. So this number 10 is important if it is applicable to you. What else? I would highly suggest to go and check the university policies. I have given the link there. Anything else? Okay, so there is this also last page is your tentative schedule of which date will cover which topic and some of the deadlines. So they are basically tentative planned. Sometimes we can rearrange a little bit here and there with my if I think I need to. Of course, I will send you a prior notice on such changes. If I don't send anything, that means we are sticking to this schedule. Okay, question. All right, now what I like to do is a little bit of poll on the general assessment. I want to get a pulse of this class, of this crowd. We have like 57, 58 participate. So this is, you can take it anonymously if you'd like, that's okay. All right, so let me launch the poll. I'll give a minute or two for you to complete this poll.
The registration status date still says August. That's not.
Oh, sorry, it is Jan 26.
Thank you.
If you are before or on Jan 26, you are early. If you are after Jan 26, you are late. Sorry for that.
Okay.
Okay, there are 52 of 57. Again, for the dates, just to make sure, I'm talking about Jan 26, not the August 16, 2020. It's my mistake. I have forgot to change that date on that poll. So if you are on or before Jan 26, you are early registered. If you are after Jan 26, you are late registered. So make sure if you need to change your poll response based on that.
How can I change it?
Oh, you already submitted?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Anyway.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. It was my mistake. A mistake from my part. I didn't check that one. Okay, there are 55 or 57. I'll wait for 5 more seconds. attended poll. Okay. Let me share the result with you. I think 76% is low, means it's for that date. I assume there is not that much. But anyway, whoever is on late and not registered yet, please make sure that you send me that email, but late registration request, so that I can send you the further information about this prerequisite survey and other notes. All right. Now, second is important. Have you taken the class from this teacher before? So this is 55-45, so almost half and half. All right. So what I would suggest that you communicate with the student, whoever have not taken class from me earlier, you communicate with the student, find out some student who has taken class from me, and sync with them. They're like, they can actually give you some guidance on how to navigate through my courses, okay? Because they're already experienced with my style of teaching, and which can be new to you as well. So I'd suggest you to team up with a student who has taken the class before from me. All right, now number 3, which assembly language are you familiar with? You can choose one or multiple. Okay, 9%, 5 of 55 have said don't know assembly language, and others said 56% MIPS. Yeah, probably the fact that 55% of my previous students are here in this class, so they have gone through the MIPS assembly language. 35% knows x86 Intel, that's good. Other knows some 3 of them. I'm curious which one you know, other in the other category. Anyone want to volunteer to? I'm curious, like which are the other processor you know its assembly language? Okay, anyway. However, for those who don't know assembly language, I'm a little bit curious, because the prerequisite of this course is CS47 or equivalent, computer system study. And a major part of it is actually study on the assembly language to explore the computer system. So please make sure you have the right prerequisite. Saying that, this class is not about programming in assembly at all, but we need the conception. We need the conception, because you will see today, I will go through the lecture 1 very quickly so that you can, I'll outline your study about lecture 1. There you will see that I will define an assembly language instruction set in the very first lecture, which is very important. And you need to make sure you understand the concept of these assembly languages and the components of the assembly languages. So experience with the assembly language programming would help you. But again, I would say it is not impossible to pick up based on what I'm presenting, but it can be difficult. Okay, so make sure you have the right prerequisite to join in the class. Okay, do you know how to convert assembly instruction into machine code? 58% said yes, 42% said no. I believe yes comes from, again, the group of people who came to this class are my previous student, and some plus some other. This is needed in the sense that like when we do the project, which is building a processor, a tiny processor, we need to come up with test cases, which basically this processor runs some real life program, but these programs need to convert to the machine code. Since we don't have assembler or compiler or anything like that for this processor, this sample processor, we need to do it by hand. So there you need that idea of how you want to convert an assembly instruction into the machine code, corresponding machine code. So that's why it is important. If you don't know already, I would say I think you need to put a little more steam onto your effort to learn it from the lecture one. I have some indication there in that note. How do you convert them? Please make sure you understand them. And again, team up with one of my previous students to make sure you understand this concept. All right. Number 5, are you familiar with the digital design using logic gate? 64% said yes, 36% said no. I think, yeah, it is good. 64% means my previous student plus some others as well. They know about this logic gate concept and how we put them together into the digital design. This concept will be important. And also, if you don't know already, no problem. Again, you need to put more steam onto the class. We will reiterate on this topic, digital design, how we design the logic circuit and etc. We'll review it. In fact, like my previous student, CS47 student, will find these topics till the midterm of this course. Those topics are at least 80% similar to what they have been taught in the CS47 post midterm. So remember, if you are in my previous class of CS47, post midterm, it was all about logic gates, how to build an ALU, how to build adder, subtractor, those things. Those becomes topics of pre-midterm topics in this class. So 80% of the topics, I believe you are familiar, my ex-students from CS47. So it is kind of a refreshing course and topics for you. For others who don't know, don't worry, we'll teach that. You'll be learning it in this class. But again, since you haven't exposed that area into your computer organization study, you need to put more effort on that. So with that note, again, teaming up with a study group which has my previous student would definitely help you in that way. Secondly, 6, are you familiar with the K-map technique for logic optimization? 51% said yes, 49% said no. Again, I think the yes comes from my previous student in CS47. We did that in CS47. If you don't know, again, don't worry, you'll be learning that in this class. Again, you need to put more effort because it will be a new concept to you. So team up with my older student. Question. Okay, let's take about a 5-minute break and we'll be back about 8:15. Okay, and we'll do preview the next day's lecture 1. Okay, let's come back, and this is 8:16 actually. My Zoom was frozen. Anyway, now what I'd like to do now at this point is quickly glide through the lecture 1 that is upcoming in the next day, and would like to establish the base point of that specific lecture. So we'll go through the Canvas pages again for that. So let me share. Okay. And now from here, if you see that, you can go to the module 1. So each module starts with an introduction to the module page. So I would encourage you to go through this introductory video of this module. It basically establishes why we are studying this module, what are included in the chapter, what is the expectation. So it's a useful video for you to start one specific module. So please make sure start of the module, you review that video. This page also has some information like learning objective. It has a link to that Q&A discussion page where you can go and note down your queries, your doubt, and I encourage every one of you to look at your friend's question, and if you know the answer, please participate in that discussion. And then it has the assessment, related assessment, assignments, etc., practice problem set. Make sure you go through that as well. Now on the module side, you can once you are done with the module introduction, then you can visit the module through this link. And each module has these basic themes, like it's that page what we just reviewed, link to that page, then link to the QA discussion page, and then followed by the study material. So this module, basic computer architecture, has 3 lectures associated, 1, 2, and 3. Then it follows by the problem set, if any. So make sure you do the problem set yourself first, then you can consult with the solution of that problem set. And then it followed with some related assignment, assessment, etc. Now on the lecture 1, which we'll be discussing in the next day, what you need to do, you go to that page, and this page is themed like this. It has the lecture notes followed by the related lecture videos. So please make sure you study the lecture notes, go through this video, collect all your queries, question on the Canvas discussion page, then come to the class. I'll go through your questions one by one. We'll discuss them to clear up your concept. If time permits, we'll do some problem, hands-on lectures, hands-on labs, etc. We'll do during the Zoom session. But you need to prepare for that class. Now this lecture, let's see what lecture has. So each lecture first page start with what are the topics we are going to discuss. So this lecture contains an introductory note to the computing system, then the basics of instruction set that will establish instruction set for this class, and then we'll go to a little bit of discussion on the arithmetic and logic unit, what they are, what they look like, etc. Usually some lecture topics, you'll also find some reference book pages, like go to this book, this chapter, if you want to know more about those topics. Sometimes I have it. For this lecture, I don't have any reference, mainly because this one is written from my experience and collected from my experience. So make sure you go through them, and I'm sure you'll have many questions. Make sure you put them on the discussion page. Now, what are these topics? First of all, we'll try to establish a formal definition of a computing system, a computer system. You'll see we'll try to do some simplistic view of the computer out of all the different computing system around us nowadays. And from there, These are all more like a schematic block diagram of what are the different components a computing system has. From there, we basically establish this definition, and then we go into the basics of the instruction set. This is where we studied in our CS47 or equivalent class this assembly language about the instruction set, what they look like, etc. We'll review the definition, and then we'll establish one instruction set called CS147DV instruction set. So this instruction, this is very important. Why? Because in the project 2 and project 3, we will develop processor which basically can execute this instruction set. All the instruction, if you write a program, assembly program, in this instruction set, all this using these instructions, and convert them into machine code, load that into the processor, processor will execute it. So, so that's why we are establishing that specific instruction set here. And we'll be referring to this instruction set over and over again throughout the semester. So very important that you understand this instruction set. Whoever done programming in MIPS language, it will be a little bit easier because this is more adherent, more similar to the MIPS instruction set than x86 instruction set. Okay, but anyway, that should not actually be a problem if you're not a MIPS. If you're not familiar with MIPS, please go through this specification of this instruction set. Okay, so we established the instruction set. It contains all the memory usage, what are the register usage, etc. And the instruction set itself, like it has, we have code formatting, mnemonics, example of how we can determine the machine code from the assembly code written in this specific instruction, and so on and so forth. So we go through that, we establish that instruction set, and then dive into different component of computer systems, right? If you recall computer system study, CS47 or equivalent, it has this a processor and the memory that is mainly a computing model. And inside processor, we have arithmetic logic unit, we have a controller unit, we have a register file system. So we'll study each of them. First of all, we'll review and recap the role and what they do, what's their purpose in a computing system, and then we'll dive down how we can build them using the logic gates, how we can build them using the logic gate. So we, in this lecture and next lecture, we'll just review their role. Okay, what is an ALU, how it looks like, how it is analogous to an API that you use in a computer programming, like in the Java or C or C++ or whatever you use. There are tons of APIs. You include header file libraries and call the functions. On a schematic level and the hardware world, they're nothing different than the API. What you basically do is draw like a schematic diagram with a black box. It is the ALU. These are my inputs. This is my output. And that's the specification of an hardware. It's very much similar to the C API. That's what we'll be studying. So this is all for the lecture 1 that we'll be studying in next few days. So make sure you study them all. Make sure you register your questions on the module 1 discussion section, and we'll discuss it in the class. Next class. Question? Okay, so if there is no other question, then what we can do, we can stop tonight a little bit early, and we'll all see you next Tuesday. Have a good weekend and good night.
Bye.